Morning, everybody. This is Will McDonald. I'm coming at you from Adelaide, South Australia. It's a beautiful day here in Adelaide. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm here to talk paintball jersey collections, just paintball collections. Really, it's just a little show that I threw together when things were very uncertain to give us another avenue to stay connected and chat to each other and kind of keep the home fires burning. Now, I just wanted to start out as I tidy up a few things in the morning. I noticed that it was Maddie Garefa and Carl Costello's birthday today. I'm not taking away Dwayne's birthday shout out. I'm not taking that away from him, but I saw it's their birthday today, so shout out to you guys. First up, I wanted to give a mention to the Play the Game podcast with Marcelo and Tyler Harmon, because first of all, they sent me my own little Play the Game podcast mug, which is pretty sweet. Yep, seems to work fine. And Pipsqueak79, Pipsqueak, forgive me, help me out. I don't remember who you are. Let me know who I'm talking to there. Also, they had Rusty Glaze on the Play the Game podcast. They had Rusty Glaze, and I've obviously known Rusty Glaze, like who he is as a player, as a coach of Dynasty. But it was really interesting to listen to his whole story coming through from playing with his brother Gator Glaze and the two of them and the impact that they've had. Even to the point, of course, BB. Glad to have you here, BB. I'm going to give you a shout in a minute as well. Even as far as the fashion that Rusty and Gator in particular had on the paintball community. So I've just chucked in a photo of my buddy Scotty. We called him Scotty Don't back in the day, and this is some little photo that we would have thrown together 15 years ago. And that kind of typifies what we always how we used to dress. We always wore these bandanas around our neck, these like big oversized black t-shirts, and just like these bandanas. And I never really knew why we did it. We just did it. And after listening to that Play the Game podcast, I now realize that was straight from Gator Glaze, which is, it's interesting that like ripple effect that people have in the community. And I think they've also, in Play the Game, they've just mentioned that they've got Ryan Brand that's just about to drop as well. All right, now speaking of podcasts, on the Down Under Paintball podcast, we've got a member from Explicit, formerly Explicit. We got Mick Plucka Jones this week. So he's checked me a couple of his jerseys. There's his 10-man Australia jersey from 2017 at 10-man at Super Sevens, East Coast Raiders, and then this has got to be one of the hardest jerseys there are. That old school black and white X-Fighters jersey is that's just cold. So he sent me some of those photos so I could just use them as a transition to shout out to Scotty Martin's work. Like I said, episode 22's got Plucka. And yeah, it's really interesting because Plucka's dealt with a lot of adversity with Explicit. Apparently there was something called the Explicit Curse, where they just couldn't fulfill what they wanted to fulfill. And after listening to the podcast, I started to believe in it. And I'm pretty sure that with all of the ups and downs he's faced with that team, he probably could get some accreditation as a sports psychologist. So check out Plucka's story. It's really good. Keeping with podcasts, so Carl Markowski has his Play the Game podcast. I've been a supporter of that for a long time. And he has a partnership with Charm City. He talks about them at the beginning of every episode. And the guy from Charm City does really amazing custom work with these headbands. And I've just chucked up one example there that uses some old bits and pieces of some, I think that might be like Gucci patterns and then some old Flying Skulls patterns. And he just creates these like one-of-a-kind, high-quality pieces of work. And I've always wanted one. And then when I saw that he had partnered with Carl Markowski to do like a signature series, I jumped on that. So here are some of the signature series that have come and gone that quickly. I'm sure there will be more. But You can see there the Charm City Carl Markowski shared label there. Now jumping in here, so BB saying there's an X-Fighters black mesh jersey that a few got around that looked pretty gnarly. Shout out to Mike Thompson at Charm City. Yeah, I knew his name was Mike, but his last name slipped, so I kind of skipped that bit. So I know BB's got some sweet head game coming. I think you said, BB, you got a 1 of 1, like a tester or something like that, which is pretty wicked. So I can't wait to get mine. All right, quick shout out, Dwayne, Paintball and Pop Culture. So the last episode of this featured Spaced, which is a British sort of sitcom, not sitcom, but comedy, British humor. And it's the same guys that did Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, That's All You Need to Know. It's pretty funny. It's one of the funniest ones yet, although I do laugh when I watch the Jackass one. And there's another one's probably going to drop today, maybe tomorrow. So, subscribe to PBHQ on YouTube because these are coming thick and fast, and we're getting, Dwayne is getting some notable names in there to be guest judges, which is a lot of fun. All right, now, really quickly in the marketplace, I'm just going to whip through some cool things that I've seen for sale lately. And disclaimer, I do not pretend to know anything about anything when it comes to this. I've just got a computer and a webcam. So Connor Johnston tagged me in this one, a Lontiev Russian Legion jersey. This one stood out to me because it's a Vicious jersey, and those guys are kind of known for just having a black long sleeve t-shirt with their insignia on it, and that's how they ball. And then I came across this Argyle Vicious jersey, which that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. ML Kings, a huge name in Europe, and this one is Carl Spicka's ML Kings jersey. And then there's a cool wall here. So what we're looking at there is a Dynasty Perchak jersey. And then, I don't know Royalty, so that dye jersey is Royalty Zach Robert. And I don't know anything about it, but apparently it's there was a team that was coached by Shane Pastana to great success. And you only have to listen to some of these podcasts, especially with Matty Marshall, to know Shane Pastana is a kingmaker. And then there's an Aftershock jersey in there, which is Nick Sloviak's Aftershock jersey, an Axel Godin Tauntaun, and then a Solzhenitsyn Houston Heat. Forgive my pronunciation. There's another small collection, and I'm just going to point out there's a Tippmann effect in there, but then there's also a big bad Dave Baines Impact jersey, which is pretty wicked. And then, holy hell, look at this Houston Heat jersey. I don't know any dates or anything on that. I don't know if that's just sort of a promotional like t-shirt on the side or if that is an old school Houston Heat jersey, but it's awesome. I also have some community contributions. So I've mentioned before that I'm trying to feature the photographers a little bit because I do a bit of paint-to-pall photography when I can, and try to give them a little bit of support. And so I've been chasing after Birchie. And so Sarah Birch Photography, you should check her out. Obviously, you would know her if you're into the Aussie paintball thing. And she has actually a few of her own sort of custom jerseys that she's worn. Here she is with her insignia across the back of an NXL jersey. And then this one is, I think this is an Ace one. It looks like an Anthrax jersey. But I think that might have been supported by Ace One. Forgive me, I'm not sure. But we've seen that similar style with Mazzy as well as Trinity, where they have that orange media emblazoned on the top, and then they've got their own custom logos and stuff, which is pretty sweet. And then I just chucked this one in here. I like this image. This is a still from an interview that I did with Birchie and Flash many years ago now, when they came over to a piano series, and I did an interview with the two of them, and she's wearing one of her custom Birchie jerseys, and I just think that picture kind of sums up the paintball photographer's life, just kind of sitting off in a corner, sort of with your own thoughts, trying to capture those photos. I really like that one. Watch that video. It's on my YouTube. BB saying Carl really hooked you up. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty cool. Carl's a good man. I'm trying to get him to help me out with a couple of other things. I'm going to start twisting his arm soon. Maybe you can help me. a couple of other community contributions. So this was just on Facebook. This is the new Adelaide Assassins jersey, and it's a PB Rack jersey. So they are sponsored by PB Rack, and they've got those like really form-fitting PB Rack pants, and now they've got the PB Rack jerseys to match. And it was this was part of a sort of a shout out and thank you to the community for attending their Gel Blaster event, because these guys raise funds and build the community, both paintball and in Gel Blasters. And there isn't a lot of paintball happening here in South Australia, but they are putting these Gel Blaster events on. And I went to it, and it was actually a lot of fun. I've probably been guilty of kind of giggling at the thought of Gel Blasters, but I did have a lot of fun. And on a speedball type setting, I was getting a pretty high G count. That was a lot of fun. And then in the bush, it was just a bit of fun. Everyone was having a good time. Everyone was laughing. And I do have my old like tack vest from when I used to, because I used to have a mag fed pump gun. So I used this on the weekend, and I got to chuck one of these Adelaide Assassins logos on there, which is pretty sweet. So I had a lot of fun out there doing that. Thanks to Ryan Richter and all the boys for throwing that together, and I plan on doing it again. Okay, now Linny's Corner. So Andrew Lynn has a huge jersey collection, and I'm just doling them out over time. So I've got about 6 or 7 here to just whip you through. And some of these I know well, and some of them I do not. Now these might not be in the right order, but I think what I've got here, he tells me this is Scott's jersey from when Jason Newstead brought Team Kiwi to Super Sevens. And there's the back of that one. What else have we got? Yeah, so Stingray -1. This would be Chop's jersey, Joe Burtis. One of the most charismatic, he says, one of the most charismatic Americans and just down-to-earth guys came to play Super Sevens. Chops is a great guy, and he's also hilarious on Facebook. Now this is a Kyle Spica jersey. I think this is a 1 of 10, and in my chat with Jason Bias, I think he showed off one of these. So that's Kyle Spica right there. Sydney Swat, so this would be Ringo Ings jersey, which would be a great one to have. I don't have a Sydney Swat jersey. Somebody hook me up. What else have we got? And then we got an X-Fighters jersey. There's a big X-Fighters theme today. So that is a Johnny Robba jersey, which would be a killer jersey to have. I don't know Johnny Robba personally, but I know him through all of this that we do. And seems like a great guy to me, and a killer paintball player, known the world around. And Linny says, love Johnny Robba, super nice guy, unless you're facing him on the paintball field, which is fair enough. And then Linny is lucky enough to have a number 40 Tampa Bay Damage jersey as well, which are obviously well sought after right now since the passing of Tim Montresor. I'm sure Linny will take great care of that one. All right, cool. Let's talk about my guest for today. I got Kai Harris. Now, Kai has sat with me before. In fact, this image is one of my favorite photos ever. You can see Kai there in his infamous jersey, which he'll be showing off in a second, just surrounded by a bunch of hard-hitting, infamous folk. And I did an interview with Kai at a Vic Fives a couple of years ago, and you should check that out. It's on my YouTube. Check that out sometime if you need more Kai. Who doesn't need more Kai? And he sat with me just to talk jerseys this time. And I'm sure you know Kai. He's an incredibly affable and extroverted guy. I have heard that he can perhaps threaten to kill you if you're on the paintball field. He can get a little cranky, but in my experience, Kai's just a big cuddly lamb. And he sat with me and we chatted paintball jerseys. So hopefully my technology won't let me down and we can hang out with Kai. Now this one's it's a little bit longer because it's Kai and he deserves it. So hang in there and I'll see you on the other side. All right. So what can you show me here today, Kai?
All right. Well, look, I've had hundreds of jerseys, I'd say, during my paintball career. And to tell you the truth, Will, I've given most of them away. So the ones I do have all have a little bit of meaning to me. So the first one I'll show off is this jersey, which I swapped out while I was playing for Australia with one of the Iranian guys.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And he signed the back of it for me, and I signed mine for him. But what I always thought was really cool was this little insignia here. If you can see, it says Islamic Republic of Iran. And I always thought that was pretty cool. So I've never actually worn it, but yeah, I've got that Iranian jersey that I swapped for a
at
Kai
like
Harris.
World Cup Asia, or was that World
Yeah.
Cup in the States?
No, that was, well, I've only represented Australia at World Cup Asia. I mean, I've been to World Cup in the States a few times as an Australian. Oh, look, and let's go the next jersey along, which is the coveted green jersey, which not many people have one of these.
Right. So you wore that in Florida.
I sure did. I have sorry, my headphones are getting in the way, but I have a Harris 360 Envious jersey, which, I was lucky enough to play points at World Cup for Envious, and I got the jersey. So I'll never be parting with that one. That one's going to be very special. Also, another good memory is when I wrangled my way onto the infamous squad for World Cup Asia. And I have my infamous jersey here, which not many people would have one of these either, that they could say they were on the actual squad. Now, instead of getting my infamous jersey, I actually have Jerry's. So I have Jerry Devro's.
Yeah.
So Jerry's a dear friend of mine who was on his way home from practice at Tampa Bay Damage, and he flipped his car and lost the use of his legs. And I wear Jerry's jersey with pride. So shout out to Jerry Devro.
I don't know Jerry, but I do know the story.
So this was the first jersey that I was ever sponsored, and that was for the Sydney X Fighters.
Yep.
In 2005.
Wow.
So yeah. So we didn't even have our names on them back then. It was an iron-on patch, the Sydney X Fighters. So I'll always keep that one, and I'll always keep the next X Fighters jersey I have as well. So this was these were our X Fighters jerseys.
Yep.
And we won many tournaments. We won Gravity Games, which was probably my favorite ever event. We won the Gravity Games, the Pro Division, and I was the captain, and we won in that jersey. And my number I used to just have Kaiser written on the back, and my number was 77.
Huh.
It was 77. But I've got their winning is everything written into the bit of a Nicky Cuba there.
Hey, sit tight for 1 second. I want to go see if I can grab something to show you real quick.
Yeah, cool. Oh, you got Susses, don't you? Is that right? Yeah, the man. Shout out to Sus, the big fella.
J-Rad gave him a shout out in my chat with J-Rad as well.
Oh, wow, he's a legend. Yeah, he's a legend.
Coaching for the Shenanigans for a little while, I think.
Yeah, he's a fantastic coach, a great leader. I've got one of the captain of Dynasties, Alex Frages. I've got an Alex Frages jersey here, and it's signed by whoever was sitting around me at the time when I got this off him. I think Blake Yarber, Kyle Spicker, Ryan Greenspan, Marcelo Margot. Tragically, Oliver wasn't sitting around that day because we all want an Oliver Lang signature, don't we?
You've done well there, though.
Yeah, I did all right. This one, California, great team out of California.
Yeah.
The Narcos.
I know the Narcos.
Oh, sorry. Bit of a technical difficulty there. Yep, Narcos. So this was a cool story as well. I was at World Cup in the States, and there's a fairly exclusive area around the back of the HK tent where, normal people can't really get. I'd just been playing for San Diego Aftermath, actually. The this is probably my most valued jersey, actually, and
Yeah.
it's a long sleeve T-shirt. Yeah, my Aftermath jersey. But I was soaked in sweat. It's ridiculously hot in Florida at World Cup. I went round to the back of the HK tent, and I saw my man Oz Rios from the Narcos. And I'd never met him. I just always liked Narcos. And I know he was taking his gear off. And I said, "Oh, hey, bro, how you going? I'm Kai from Australia." And he was like, "Yo, what's up, homie? I'm Oz." And I was like, "How do I get one of those jerseys?" And he goes, "Like this, G."
Nice.
And he just passed me his jersey. So, and we've been great friends ever since. And I've sent him cartel jerseys with, I've sent him one of these. Sent him a Harris 360 cartel jersey, and he plays tournaments in that, and he won a tournament in that.
That's
and he
awesome.
sent us, yeah. So we formed a bond. And another just normal guy that I get along with, that I'd see all around the world, was my friend Carl, and Travis Carl. And
now is that a New York team?
it's a Los Angeles wrecking crew.
Okay.
So it's a wrecking crew, and I believe there's a connection. But Travis Carl, I traded a Harris 360 for a Carl 13 somewhere along the way. And of course, I live in Australia, so I have the mandatory Eskimo brothers. Yep. So there's my Harris 360 Eskimo brothers, and my last one is, I'm, as everyone knows, sponsored by HK Army. So I usually rock they make up a generic one for me. And so this is what I'm wearing at the moment for practices and stuff like that. But out of all my jerseys, most definitely the most prized would be my Australia jersey with my name on it. But I got to represent my country overseas for Australia. I think that's the pinnacle of anyone's career. And as silly as it is, this long sleeve T-shirt. Just a long sleeve T-shirt with Aftermath on it. They're my dead set favorite jerseys in the world, and I'll never part with them.
Two thoughts on the Aftermath jersey. It doesn't matter what kind of jersey it is. If it's an Aftermath jersey, like, that's pretty awesome. Also, with those old black long sleeves, I remember back in the day, we all would have, like, people would boast whatever pro jersey that they'd bought or met and traded, and they'd wear that when they're out in training. But when it came to, like, tournaments, the hardest teams out there were the teams just wearing the black long sleeves.
Always. And I got the hardest jersey with the hardest team on there.
Yeah.
Aftermath, I used to love those guys. I'm great friends with Bobby Avilas and Mouse, and I've known those guys for literally 15 years, and to be able to slap that long sleeve Aftermath on was one of the greatest times of my life.
There you go. I love Kai Harris. That guy, when he's around, is just a big energy, and he just loves paintball. He's a passionate guy, and he's the first to admit that sometimes that passion spills over into maybe a little bit of messiness on the paintball field, but he's a generous guy in my mind. A little bit of chat about trading jerseys and that sort of thing. Scotty saying that he used to be given 2 SWAT jerseys a year so you could swap one or sell one. That would be awesome. I would love that. I know that, when you're just playing paintball and you have a team, just sort of a local team or whatever, you can't really afford to have multiple jerseys. But over the years, I have been able to have like a couple of blank jerseys, or, maybe a couple of iterations of my jerseys. And I have been able to do, I think, 3 jersey trades with people who, are really valued. 4 now that I think about it. But now I don't have some key jerseys that I used to have, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's also cool that other people have those and I have theirs. I love the idea of jersey swaps. As hard as it is to give up your own jersey. I know nowadays a lot of teams are given many jerseys, and they can sell them off, and that's part of the way they make their money. Tyler Harmon mentioned that in his video that he sent us, which I'm still reeling over. That was so cool. And I'm getting some love from BB about Kai as well. Yeah. Yeah, great contribution from Kai. And I keep these videos, I try to keep them to about 5 minutes. You know, maybe they blow out a little bit. That one was a little bit longer for obvious reasons. But I had to cut out so many cool little stories of Kai meeting people or trading jerseys just to try to keep it succinct. And I might have to just come back and release a couple of these. I might put some of them up uncut on YouTube, because if you know Kai, you know he's got some great stories. All right, let's see, what else have we got going on? Just another shout out. If you need more Kai, just scroll through my Center 50 interview series. There's an interview with Kai there. Hey, I think we've come full circle. We have now gotten to the jersey that I was just going to show off, which I don't have many left. So what I have here, this is not a jersey that I've had for years or anything. This is a Rage City jersey, which I picked up from Tim Matthew not that long ago. I picked up a few jerseys from him, and I did it for a few reasons. He had an old couple of Sin jerseys that I showed off a few episodes ago. Yes, BB, we will chat. I will gladly see some more of your jerseys. But you may have seen the Sin jerseys from a few episodes ago, because I remember playing against Sin in 2009, 2010. And then I also got his Contract Killer jersey, because I always wanted to have one of those. And then I saw this one, and it's a wicked jersey. And I didn't know much about it. He gave me a little bit of input that it was a Russ Bromley creation. The team was made up of Queensland players like Tim, Mikey Nguyen, and one of my favorite players, coaches, or umpires, Amanda Andrews, guesting, filling in to complete a roster for the Sydney Tournament Series. I think my mother's telling me not to forget to give Dwayne a shout out on PBHQ. Yep, not going to forget. Yeah, Tim hooked me up with this one, as well as a few others, just because, I love being able to collect. Like, I've got a Markowski jersey, Marcelo Margot. I've got an amazing Blake Yarber jersey. But I also love the Aussie. I love the Aussie history, and I think we need to be celebrating that just as much. So I have a Rage City jersey, Tim Matthew. There it is. Now, I do see, even though I'm being harassed to give Dwayne a plug, that I forgot to put in a logo for Dwayne. Oh well, you all know where to find him. Mondays, 7:30 Adelaide time, whatever that works out for you. That's, PBHQ. Dwayne, he's the guy that does all the heavy lifting around here. We are getting some paintball events back up and running, even though there are some concerning trends in New South Wales and Victoria. Hopefully we can get that under wraps and we can get back to normalcy sooner rather than later. But tune in to Dwayne tomorrow to learn about all the trends in Australian paintball and paintball overseas. And as usual, I will see you again next week. And I might be having to switch to headwear, because my jersey collection is quickly coming to an end. Okay, so Scotty, BB, Mom and Dad, whoever else I had in here with me today, and whoever else will be watching this later, thank you for your time. Thank you, Kai, for your time as well, and I'll see you all next week.